I don't want to set the world on fire. I
Please
just
welcome
want
Tom
to start
Dummary.
a flame in your heart.
I'm here, and
In
your white
my
privilege isn't
heart, I
going to
have
save you
but
tonight, okay, guys?
one desire, and that one is you. No other will do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim.
Any government is to monopolize as much violence as possible in order for it to inflict it on as many citizens as possible.
I've been on this like weird anarchist arc for a few months now. This is playing by their rules, exactly how they are written.
Me. I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame.
You're watching the Dog and Chicken Show. Like, share, subscribe.
That's right. It's time for the Dog and Chicken Show.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, all you beautiful people out there, to the Dog and Chicken Show. I forget what number of episode this is supposed to be, so we're just rolling with it.
It's 185, chicken.
Oh, hey, you got it. Thanks, man.
185. You'd know that if, we actually did weekly shows.
It's summer, and we got shit to do sometimes, but God damn it, you just threw me off my game. Anyway, I am Dr. Chicken, of course, at Bark and Cluck on Twitter, and joined, as always, by the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that makes me want to wear a cowboy hat all of a sudden, and your 15 time. It's 15.
Imitation is a sincerest form of flattery. Thank you. Thank you.
I do have aviators in the other room if I...
You'd fucking get them. Yes, it is I. Find me at TikTok, Tony the Rod, your 15-time revolutionary wrestling podcast champion, the non-copper friendly, non-chill filtered, quadruple distilled Tony fucking G. And yes, this is episode 185 of the Dog and Chicken Show. You can find all of the denizens of the Big Buckin' Empire at Linktree/Big Buckin'. And of course, we are joined by some other incredible guests tonight.
Aw.
Hello.
This guy blowing kisses.
Yeah.
The dad of all dads.
Hey, folks. I am Brendan of Dads Worldwide. Also at Your Politics Sucks on Twitter. Find me there. And I'm also on Instagram as well. Yeah.
What can I say? Icon show from Playgirl Magazine.
And everybody's been waiting.
Fashionably late, folks, because, folks, come one, come all, gather one, gather all, for the man, the myth, the legend, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, Hollywood Phil KOE. Yeah, that's right, folks. Hollywood Phil KOE. Better than before, better than you ever thought you could ever achieve for a high score. Phil KOE, folks. Yes, God bless, folks. It's amazing. Hollywood Phil KOE. I am the man with the plan, and it's a plan I'm going to spread all across the land for you beautiful folks. You can, of course, find me at KOE Nation, the fastest growing online platform community on the internet today. KOE Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and now Twitter, folks. My kingdom ever expands. Join the party. Be part of history, folks. So yes, Hollywood Phil KOE here to join you beautiful people. I would just like to thank all the beautiful people that made this possible.
Phil, can you give them some context on this Hollywood gimmick?
Well, okay. Basically what happened is God's glory be praised. I went on to a panel last night with one Destiny. Maybe a few of you might have heard him. He's got kind of a good thing going on, apparently. Now, granted, intellectually speaking, he's no match for the great Phil KOE at all. Hulk Hogan lifted up his Andre the Giantness, gave him the body slam, bounced off the rope, gave him the atomic leg drop for the 1, 2, 3, and I'm now the undisputed greatest political champion of all sundry on all platforms. The omni-liberal dragon has been defeated. Phil KOE reigns supreme. And that wasn't all. Also, Dylan Burns was basically made 3 points, made himself a non-factor at this. Brianna Wu, who I thought was going to really bring something, basically just kind of brought some name calling, and your King of Extreme was able to counter everything there. So, folks, it was me and Rob Noir versus 4 other folks who were more or less adversarial. So very, very unfair for them.
Yeah.
Because your King of Extreme
showed up and hung out.
Yeah, he hung out and said some things. He was a nice guy, but he even said he was uninformed. So Rob Noir and now Hollywood Phil KOE came in and just dominated. To his credit, Rob Noir was hitting Stone Cold Stunners while your Phil King of Extreme was hitting the rope with more atomic leg drops, just putting people out all night long. And at one point, even Desi said, "You are unassailable, Phil KOE." And I was like, well, no, you just can't counter my arguments. So I'm sorry.
I did rather enjoy the one part where Destiny was like, "Oh my God, here we go with the theatrics again." And then Connor goes, No, to be fair, this is Phil's personality, just so you're aware. And he goes, "Well, okay, well, whatever." And then he starts talking.
Yes, I do gotta give Connor some credit. And like, Connor, thank you, sir. I owe you one. And I did bring the fireworks. He wanted some fireworks because they were afraid no one was going to be able to adequately defend Trump. And that was just my bat signal. I was like,
well, they were afraid that nobody was going to have any fucking charisma. So, hey, Phil, would you come and, lighten up the fucking mood? Thanks.
Yep. And
all I know is I've never heard of Destiny. I don't know who Destiny is, but I do know Hollywood Phil KOE.
Yes.
Thank you. I mean, your autograph is in the mail.
To be fair, Brendan, to be fair, Destiny has blue hair, so I didn't think you would know him.
Yeah. So, your Hollywood Phil KOE, the new undisputed champion of all political Twitch and political YouTube. Hollywood Phil KOE, undisputed champion, cannot be debated, disputed, or denied. I gave some very simple metrics at the beginning of the debate, said all you got to do is these 2 things. Nobody was even able to come close to even attempting to do these 2 things. And it all just ended up being gum flappery that I showed it to be for what it was. And Hollywood Phil KOE reigns supreme once again. God be praised.
God be praised.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just glad for the first time on the Dog and Chicken show, both Chicken and Phil are imitating me tonight. This is great. This is nice. Chicken with the hat.
Tony is rock hard right now.
Brendan, I think, is wearing
Tony,
the same
I'm sorry.
ring as
a good look's
tonight.
a good look. And this is a good look for Hollywood Phil KOE. If it's a good look for Hollywood Phil KOE, then it's a good look for Hollywood. So should I just start doing that, like referring to myself to the third person? Just like, if that's not good for Hollywood Phil KOE, then that's not good for Hollywood Phil KOE, because Hollywood Phil KOE is going to do what's best for Hollywood Phil KOE. Like, no, that's...
You're giving me an ulcer. God.
Imagine being on a panel with him for fucking 2.5 hours.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Did they give an address where we get to send the flowers to all the people that had to suffer your ass last night?
Tony, I've been seeing the comments on Dylan's video, which is
I'm sure they were fruitful.
About 10,000 views on that. The views on Destiny's video, which just dropped a few hours ago, which now has 107,000 views, which blew my freaking mind. Like, wow. And so I've actually
been loving the Hollywood KOE.
They are, like, some people have said that much like this is one comment that I loved this one.
Oh God.
Much like the conspiracy theory that Bill Hicks became Alex Jones and didn't actually die. Rush Limbaugh didn't actually die. And I'm just like, Oh my God! Like you have no like that is amazing, and like he faked his death and is actually Phil.
Whoever
KOE.
made that comment needs to get shot because
no,
you
whoever
don't
made
know
that
what you
comment
just did
is
to
getting
Phil.
invited to my inauguration party when I get elected president in 2024. Chicken.
Which Tony, when are we announcing this?
Oh, we're coming
Like
soon.
his
On the
official
next-
announcement.
I feel like
My
the
daughter
next
asked, "Are you
show-
old enough to run?" Like, yeah, I'm 35 is the limit.
I
to
can't
run
wait for
president,
Brendan
so.
to see the announcement.
Oh,
I can't wait for
we-
everybody to see it.
yeah. So those of you watching the Dog and Chicken Show tonight, you probably noticed that we did not drop an episode last week, hence Chicken's confusion on which number this is. But Phil and I made our way to the land of South Dakota, and we did a lot of drink reviews. Chicken got the hiccups and couldn't be bothered too much more than that because Chicken got
they got bad.
Yep.
For 4 hours, I had hiccups.
And folks, just as soon as we figure out our time sync issues, we will have a wealth of South Dakota content coming your way. There's a wee bit of a time sync issue that we will overcome.
We have a very big, bad, bold, and just daring announcement video for a very special candidacy for the presidency of the United States coming very, very soon, folks. So
can't wait.
Yes.
Definitely
Hollywood Phil KOE for president of the United States, folks, because Hollywood's not big enough a town to contain Phil KOE, the nation, you beautiful, beautiful people. In fact, give me one moment. I'm going to give this beautiful flag a kiss here. Yes, this beautiful, beautiful nation deserves in spirit, it kissed us.
Why does he look like a blind guy?
Why? Did you give it? You slipped that thing the tongue, didn't you?
No.
Did you slip it the tongue on the red stripe or the white stripe? I got it.
No.
There's a brown stripe in there somewhere.
But so, folks, don't worry. In 2024, Phil KOE will be the candidate for you. Oh, okay, good to know. The candidate for me and the candidate that has to go pull a pizza out for my kiddo so we can watch some amazing South Park. But folks,
not all
you beautiful people out there, join me in the campaign of extreme. Hollywood Phil KOE, the place for you, the place for me, the place for all of us within all God's sundry. Folks, please join me at KOE Nation, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter. Be sure to follow these beautiful, beautiful people at Hazard Analysis, Big Buckin' Empire, and I believe it's the Audacity of the Frozen Arctic podcast. Is that the show that you guys got? Close enough. All right. Hey, at least I'm getting the letters right.
It's right next to Dad's Intercontinental.
Yes. Dad's over here, over there, a little bit everywhere, and it's amazing shows all around. But
he really does look like a blind guy right now.
I know.
I'm trying. Like now that you're saying that, I'm trying not to look up because I don't want.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like a Ray Charles.
I'm over here like Ray Charles.
It's like so. All right. So what you're saying is I need like the PC principal wraparound glasses.
Yes.
To make this
you got to be
work.
aloof, like Tony fucking G here. You know, I don't need to convey that I'm blind into the camera. I don't.
Well, like I'm gonna be honest with you.
Sympathy votes or what?
Like Tony, you know that like I've got like perfect Mr. Magoo 2020 vision as is.
Yeah, the closer we got to South Dakota, the darker it got, and the less likely we were to make it. So
Tony started getting scared.
Yeah.
He was like, "So what's that sign say?
Yeah.
Things in English." Assuming
There's some letters and shit.
Letters, maybe a number or two.
We got there just in time because it hit dark right when we got there.
Oh yeah, so Tony started getting, but no, I had my glasses with me. It would have been fine.
You put them on.
All right. Well, you beautiful people, I will catch you all later.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Yeah.
Now that Hollywood's out, let's get back to the races.
Hollywood out.
Let's get back to the races.
Yeah. Back.
Yeah. Back to the races.
Thanks,
as
Bandit.
Trey would. Yeah. Bandit Trey.
I missed it, but Bandit, I believe, jumped onto Hazard here last Friday. I wanted to thank everybody who jumped onto Hazard Analysis the other night. We had K Fellows, we had Osiris, Ica Rich, myself, Phil, and I think Bandit jumped in towards the end after I had bad internet connection, but I had to go to bed anyway because I'm an old guy like that. But yeah, it was a really good show.
Nice.
Went very well.
So this week's topic on a pre-record, of course, we try to pick.
Yeah, if you didn't notice already, we're not.
Yeah,
live,
yeah. By
folks.
the way, we're ignoring all of your comments on purpose, assholes.
It's on purpose. Fuck you all.
Yeah, I know.
Except for you. I love you. Oh, and you, I like you too.
Next comment, I love you the most.
Oh no, I love him more.
Yeah. I'll let him poke me.
All right, now you took it too far.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, on these pre-records, we like to get into kind of like non-topical, like not something that's going to hold us back on time frames and whatnot, and hopefully get to give back to you and teach you something that maybe you didn't know, or get into something that's a little bit more kind of crazy. So this week we're going to talk about the day Philadelphia Police Department bombed their own city.
Yeah, that's a thing
that happened.
The fuck?
Yeah. And a lot of people died, and like 60 houses got burned down.
Yeah, so this apparently was a pretty bad deal, huh?
At least no kids died. I mean,
yeah, some kids died.
But yeah.
Guess what skin color they were?
Shit.
Probably not the color of my hat.
Nope.
No, turns out. So when people wonder why, not to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy a little bit. Like,
be that guy.
When people wonder, like, how do these BLM movements get so much traction? It's because stuff like this happened not so fucking long ago.
Yeah, just like, watch the first 30 minutes of this documentary.
Yeah, it's
like, that's why.
It's sobering because you got to remember, regardless of what you think about current events, situations in the world that we live in, which is absolutely Candyland, stuff like this, and not trusting your government or your local authorities to do the right thing. It's not a new concept. It is a stigma. It's a stigma for a reason because of shit like this. And we've
Tony, stop right there. How dare you? Our government has done nothing but provide a great environment to raise kids, no matter what your race, ethnicity, or anything. Like, they've treated every single person over the last 250 years with the utmost respect, dignity, and fairness.
That might be the worst thing you've ever said on this show, and you said some doozies. Holy crap.
I have said some doozies.
This does kind of tie in, metaphorically speaking, with like the Ruby Ridge episode, the Waco episode, in terms of the government and authoritarian organizations just failing on such a nuclear level to not just do the right thing, but do it with such nonchalant, not giving a fuck that it's so offensive. And you look at it even today, and you listen to these testimonies. It's so offensive, knowing that these people are sitting here, knowing full well that they're going to get away with this scot-free, and not a care in the world, and they can just lie about it, or, quite frankly, mostly tell the truth and have no repercussions. So, this is why these things still today. You wonder why there's a lot of racism, and it's not just the racism pushed by the media and the government. There's still a lot of distrust, and it's stuff like this, and you got to at least take that into account when you look at situations. And
this is Waco before Waco.
Yeah.
It was 1985.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
technically started in the 70s.
Yeah.
Well, should we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's try to.
I guess we're talking about there's a group called Move out of Philadelphia, born and raised. On the playground
is where I spent most of it. Okay, can we just get that out of the way? That documentary, the first thing that popped in my head is the fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when they started talking about West Philadelphia. I'm like, boy, that's going to just not go away now. That's going to be
all day long.
whole thing. Yep. Perfect.
So it was founded by a man named his actual name. Hold on, I gotta find it here. He changed his name to John Africa.
Yeah.
And
Leapart.
yes, Vincent
Leopard.
Leapart. He is a Korean War veteran who was probably best described as an anarcho primitivist. And that's kind of how he set the basis for this group called Move. Now, Move is not an acronym.
It gave me Amish vibes, but like if the Amish lived in Africa.
Yeah, well.
But then even they drove cars. They had you know what I mean?
Cell phone or a phone, not a cell phone.
Yeah. Like they were allowed certain things, right? Like, but you know, I thought that was I instantly thought Amish, and then they were like, but we use cars. I'm like, well, not Amish.
Some sects of the Amish community do use cars. You
know,
oh,
they do.
Watch, yeah.
I've seen some on tractors.
Yeah, well, that's a little.
That's good. I'm pretty much a fucking car.
You continue.
Drink time, ladies and gentlemen. With kids interrupting. Cheers. So anyway, John Africa. He was the founder and coordinator. He was a very interesting character, and honestly, I don't think I would necessarily not get along with this guy. Some of his ideas were pretty based. He took him to a pretty heavy extreme sometimes. But overall, he was just like, you know, I don't understand why anybody would allow a government or any type of organization or entity to have control over the autonomy of anybody, whether that's a person, plant, animal. Like, he's like, no, like, cops don't have any authority. Government doesn't have any authority. Like, he was pretty anarchist in that way of questioning any type of coercive behavior from any group. Didn't like rules, didn't like anything, and he really hated people that followed rules. That's probably where he started taking it too far. He didn't have a lot of sympathy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I was like, oh yeah, you know, we'd get along, no problem. But then I feel like it was just like one step too far. Like he wouldn't he was only letting the kids eat raw food.
Yeah, raw chicken.
And raw chicken. Like, I was like, what?
But
like,
then they were eating cooked food.
But then the adults
got to eat
cooked food. Yeah, I was like, that's just crazy. Like, that's crazy town. You're just justifying it at that point. So, you know, like, back to nature is a great thing. Like, I think
nothing wrong with that.
I think people should be eating more raw food, but I'm saying more like raw vegetables, not raw chicken. Like, that's crazy. That's insane. You're asking for, you know, food poisoning at that point. So, but if you see the pictures of some of these kids, and they look malnutrition. They did. Like,
yeah, it looked like those like fucking Sally, or was that the Sally Southers videos back in the day?
Yeah,
like,
exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. So, no, I'm with you. I'm like, you listen to the guy, you're like, oh yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. But then, yeah, just a little bit too far for me.
Yeah, he got pretty crazy. I'm actually we'll get into some of the early shit. So back in 72 is when they founded this group Move. Again, it's not an acronym. Literally, it was like meant to say move. Like, get off your ass, move, stop accepting things. And they slowly started building like a small community over the next several years, until they started. I guess there was a lot of harassment and things that happened with local PD and whatnot, but it started coming to a head in 1978. And I'm trying to remember how many months this went on. There was like a standoff in 1978, and like all the timelines I find just say this is what happened in 1978. But like when I first looked at this, it like said that I thought it was like a several months standoff on this first incident. Either of you guys remember that one?
Trying to remember.
It was trying to find. Thought it said it on one of these that I dropped, but I can't. Yeah, there's not a great timeline online. I can't believe how little of information there is, like, just readily available to show you.
There's like not one page where you can find everything. You have to jump all over the place to find.
Yeah, it's
a
crazy.
lot of this. Let's see.
Like, I'm glad I watched the documentary now, because otherwise, yeah, finding the information is almost impossible.
Well, anyways, so in '78 they had a standoff with PD.
I've got one from what is this? Collaborativehistory.gse. 73 to 78, and 73, a group of West Philadelphians guided by the anti-establishment principles of charismatic Martua resident Vincent Liphart, later self-renamed John Africa, came together as MOVE. MOVE, not an acronym, adopted a radically alternative lifestyle, militant political practices that created antagonistic relationships with both their neighbors and the Philadelphia PD. And in August 1978, after almost a year of failed negotiation to resolve an earlier conflict, Mayor Frank Rizzo ordered an attack on MOVE's Powelton Village headquarters. It resulted in the destruction, the headquarters, the death of the police officer, and the virtual life sentence of 9 MOVE members. And that's so.
So again, here's what happened:
this article said a nearly hour-long standoff.
Yeah, they were trying to like evict them.
Yeah, that's a pretty way of saying it.
Yeah.
Well.
Like
yeah. Like anyway, so this standoff ended up. So shots got fired eventually. Now, this is disputed depending on where you read it. Whether these guys had, heavy artillery rifles, assault rifles, or what kind of weaponry they had. But in this standoff, an officer was killed. And I'm trying to remember, and I'm not finding it, but most of the rifles they found in the house, if not all of them, were inoperable.
Yeah.
Like they were literally LARPing with guns that did not work.
And this article I'm looking at now said the cop was shot in the back of the neck.
Yeah. So that's the questionable thing, is because a lot of the people inside were like, that's friendly fire, because A, like you just said, Jig, and most of this stuff is inoperable, and B, we don't have anything of that caliber or firearm capacity to do that, because there's no semi-automatic weapons here. A lot of that stuff was like shotguns, I believe, was it not?
Yeah.
So if you got shot in the back of the neck, there's no head left.
Right.
Sorry.
Nine
work.
of these guys. They found the one guy like gave himself up or whatever, and then they like beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah. I like how they were like, oh yeah, he got hit with a helmet, and then we arrested him, and then they show the video and he's getting curb stomped. I'm like, what? I was like shocked.
They were fucking him up too.
Well, they were kicking him in the face, like completely kicking him in the face. His head was snapping back.
It was fucking
awful.
Wild. Anyway, they convicted 9 people of this murder of the cop, and they all got 30 to 100 years.
How do you convict 9 people of one
murder? Yeah.
Let's go to Philadelphia and ask him.
He got shot once.
Yeah. Like that's the funny thing about this. Like, how you can't do that. Like, how can you do that?
But you can't.
How can you convict 9 people of the same murder? Wait, without any discrepancy? Like, that's not a thing, is it? Unless I'm not aware. I don't think you can do that.
If you're black in 78.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Piss off the cops enough.
Yeah, that might have something to do with it.
That might do it.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I don't know why I can't get any new tabs to work. Everything else is working fine. I'm trying to open a new tab. I wanted to pull up video of like this guy getting fucking shit kicked out of him.
I don't know how bad I want to watch that again.
I don't know either. Why? Why are you being non-responsive? Everything else is working. Anyway, well, maybe that's God's way of saying, "Hey, don't show this." Yeah, I need a move. I want a movement.
Trying to keep it lighthearted here, folks. It's a very depressing topic.
Well, yeah, it is.
Severely depressing.
So this has happened, which ended up causing them. They finally, obviously, were evicted from that residence.
Again, you're prettying it up with the words there. Evicted is a very That's a Disney way of putting it.
Disney, I like it.
Yeah.
Didn't they destroy the house?
I don't know what they did to that house.
Well, it wasn't really left like in good shape.
Yeah.
I don't think it wasn't nearly as bad as, Part Deuce, but I mean, not good.
So yeah, even that organization denied any responsibility for the cop's death. They also claimed that it was friendly fire. Let's see. Here's the Move members. So they're called the Move 9. There's Merle, Phil, Chuck, Michael, Debbie, Janet, Janine, Delbert, and Eddie Africa. All convicted of third-degree murder. And denied.
No sense.
Were all denied parole again in 2008. After spending 42 years behind bars, Delbert was released from prison in January 2020, a mere 5 months before his death. Delbert, along with all of the convicted Move members, maintained their innocence, saying their trials had been flawed. In an arrest captured by cameras and broadcast nationwide, Delbert Africa was shown surrendering to the police with his hands in the air, being knocked down. So it was Delbert Africa was the one that got the shit kicked out of him.
Wait, they let this guy out during the COVID year? Oh, man.
I know, yeah. You've been locked up for 40 years. This is what we're going to let you go back to.
God. That's just fucked.
He got his freedom. God damn it.
Yeah, it turns out, it's not going to be that big of an adjustment. You've been behind bars for so many decades. Guess what? Outside world, turns out, it's lockdown too. So easy transition for you. Have fun. The world is your playground, except for it's not.
Except for fuck you.
He gives himself up, gets his ass kicked, then gets convicted of shooting the cop.
Yeah.
Then goes to jail. Yeah, not
for
cool.
decades. And then gets released during COVID.
Yeah.
And then dies. What a great hand he got dealt. Like, again, this is what we're talking about. 9 people convicted of murder. What, for one round?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to play pretend here that 9 motherfuckers sat there with one gun? All right, everybody, on 3.
Well, Tony, you do know about JFK, right?
I feel like I've maybe heard those initials before.
I'm just saying, like, there's magic bullets out there.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't take 9 people to operate at my bet.
Hear me out. One bullet did a lot of damage in the John F. Kennedy case. What if 9 people hit the exact same spot?
Yeah, unless they're playing pickleball.
Now there's 9 bullets.
I don't think
I have a 9-bullet theory, motherfucker.
9-bullet theory. All right, I'd love to hear it because that's 9 bullets are magically transformed into one.
It wasn't magic.
It was like a Captain Planet bullet. They all shot at the same time, and the bullets all formed together. Captain Planet.
Oh no, it's even worse than that. They say that the cop was facing the building, so it would have been more like Wanted when they were like shooting.
Bending
around corners.
Yeah.
So it's even more practical.
So Wanted was inspired by this. Okay,
yes,
I get
completely.
it. That's basically holy shit!
Damn, he came off the ground.
I wasn't ready for that. All right.
Yep. On the neck, boot on the neck.
Jesus,
Johnny Cash hurt.
That was it. That was it. That wasn't even like half the beating.
I'm good with just that bit.
Yep.
That gets the point across pretty well.
Yeah, that pretty much summed it up. Christ. Yeah. And some people wonder why people have trust issues. Yeah, I don't know. It's a mystery to me.
I'm just thinking myself up. They're gonna treat me all right.
Yeah. But give myself up. Maybe they'll go easy on me.
Do easy on me. No.
Here's a lesson.
So anyway,
folks, never give yourself up. Here's why.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna
Oh,
let you down.
Oh man.
Yeah, you just set up a Rickroll.
You
dude.
just rickrolled in the middle of this. I
Yeah.
like keeping things lighthearted when we talk about
Never gonna
depressing shit
give.
like
Never
this.
gonna give.
A rickroll? Oh man.
Anyway, the move
Weird.
convictions. So let's see. They ended up. So they got all the convictions went through, and by 1981, the members of Move had recovered from the shootout and relocated its growing membership into the house at 6221 Osage Avenue in Cobbs Creek, a predominantly black middle-class subdivision in West Philadelphia. Neighbors lodged numerous complaints about the new Move compound and their interactions the rest of the neighborhood. Now, this is where I become less sympathetic with this group.
Yeah, it does get a little tedious
These
here,
guys
and you
were
understand that they get a
fucking
little
dicks.
standoffish. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had like speakers and megaphones, and like it's like they said, this is middle class subdivision, and like everybody knows each other. All these houses right next to each other. Everybody's like having cookouts and taking walks, and then you have this one rundown house that all the windows are all boarded up, and they have speakers all over, and they're literally like people, sitting outside talking to each other and laughing, having a good time. They'd be like, "Hey, motherfucker, what are you fucking doing? Shut the fuck!" Like they would just start screaming at people for no reason.
It was domestic terrorism level, as they like to claim it was, but yeah, they weren't exactly neighborly, and I can see why they'd be a public nuisance in this scenario. But yeah. The response, and we'll get there. Let's not put the cart
now.
before
Granted,
the
this
horse.
isn't rich white people complaining. This is middle class black families, living amongst this group, and this group is fucking just being terrible neighbors. First off, but even beyond that, like, bro, like practice what you preach a little bit here. When it comes to like,
I wanted to like, what are the details on like the kids here? Because like in the documentary, like the kid that they were interviewing, he was weird. He was the kid. He was his dad is in the interview room with him. And was his mom part of the movement, but his dad wasn't? That's okay.
Yeah, his dad was in the military and away from home.
Right. So, and the way he describes it, like he's giving kind of a firsthand account of these things. And again, you guys were talking about before I came back, like the pictures and the videos of the kids, like it looks like a tribe. Like if you didn't know that this is like in the inner city, the kids are like running around basically butt ass naked, and they're like their eating habits don't really line up with a lot of the adults. So the pecking order seems a little off and a little strange. Not quite right, but something's not right here. But it's not like they're, from what I gathered from the documentary, it's not like they're being abused. They're not. I don't know, but some of the things seemed really ritualistic as well. So I don't know. It was really strange.
Like at the time, the interviews from the kids, all the kids were like, "Oh no, they were loving to us and they were nice to us." But then years later, a lot of them came out and said that there was abuse. So that, I mean, that's
okay.
Up for interpretation, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they tried to hound the one witness, the one lady, her own son. They tried to get her to admit that he was actually instructed by John Africa to beat the shit out of her, like, or strangulate her with a pillow.
She didn't really deny that either.
Yeah, though. And that was the funny. Yeah, that I was going to say. She never denied it. She deflected back. Well, the mayor has a scandal, and I would like to see you ask him the same question. Like,
which isn't a bad point.
You didn't answer. It was like a Phil KOE answer.
True.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, it was a very Phil KOE answer.
So yeah, like obviously the kids, like the pecking order was they were not the top of the food chain in this organization, and you could tell by the looks of things. Like, I don't want to call it grooming, but they were definitely pushing these kids in a certain direction. I don't know what the end goal here was, because they didn't get that far. They never got that far. They weren't given that much space, right?
Well, but also like that every answer they had to a question was, well, whatever John Africa says, like that.
Yeah.
It was kind of like,
yeah.
What do you mean?
Like,
it was right. Africa, but it's John Africa.
I didn't get a Timothy McVeigh vibe or or not Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah, I'll say he's not a
Waco.
David
David
Koresh.
Koresh. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, Dave. I didn't get a David Koresh vibe, but I didn't not get a David Koresh vibe here. So I'm not saying that this was a perfect organization. Obviously, one had its flaws. Terrible neighbors. Terrible way to treat the people that you're sharing spaces with. You know, horrible things done to parents trying to push kids to be. I don't know if they were supposed to be foot soldiers or what kind of ideals they were trying to pump into these kids' heads. I'm not defending them. Again, but damn, the way this goes down, which we'll get, holy shit. Ugh.
Can I just say, like, obviously we kind of all know where the story ends, but
we know where it's going.
Everybody, including the authorities, the group, like everybody made terrible decisions through this whole fucking thing. This is what happens when you have people just like so steadfast in crazy beliefs, and you do not listen to anybody else and cannot consider anybody else's side of things. This is the outcomes you get.
Was it the police commissioner that made the quote along the lines of, "I've been taught to bring more weaponry or resources or soldiers than you think you need and expect that to happen, and basically just go whole hog on any situation. That way things won't go sideways." I'm like,
yeah, he doesn't want to lose a war.
What? Yeah, the way they approached this was like they were entering a fucking battlefield. And it wasn't. This was horrible. This is like training to box fucking Ivan Drago, but you're going in to fight fucking the clown at a kid's birthday party. It's fucked up.
Kind of like Conor McGregor punching a mascot.
Exactly. You're beating up an opponent that doesn't have the resources to fight back. And then when you realize you've won the fight, well, I'm just going to kill him now.
But so the group, they move into that townhouse and they start like screaming at their neighbors at all hours of the evening and during the day, and all I can think of is just don't shit where you eat, like that saying.
Right. Yes.
See, that's like just like that's like a number one. Like that's just such a huge mistake. If you really want to gain momentum with your movement, the last thing you want to do is piss off your neighbors.
Agreed.
You know, obviously they were not thinking rationally about these things. I mean, they were building turrets or whatever on top of their,
bunkers.
They're building a couple of bunkers up top.
To be fair, I think they could have basically been doing choir singing in this thing, and it wouldn't have mattered because
they were doing choir singing. They had the children singing like
that was so weird.
John Africa
that's right.
hymns.
Yeah. Okay, but what I'm saying is like they could have been teaching gospel and Bible study in here, and it wouldn't have mattered because the cops and the local government already had an interaction with this organization. So
I was going to say you've already been invaded once. Like,
it didn't matter how cordial they were or how godful they were. It didn't matter. They were a target. They were still a target until the target's wiped out. They're always going to be a target. So it didn't matter. And I think a lot of that bad mojo that they had in this second home here came from the bad taste left in their mouth from the first time around. I can't blame them for that. I'm not saying that they went about things the right way. I just don't think it would have mattered if they were actually neighborly and would have been decent to the people in the community. I don't think it would have mattered. I'm not justifying it, but I don't think it matters.
I kind of disagree on that one. I think had they not pissed off their neighbor, don't get me wrong, the cops maybe still would have been angry at them, but then like people were going after the councilman and being like, hey, like these people are fucking up. Like they would
they were like leaving all their trash outside. They had they were turning them in for like health code violations, and they were worried about child neglect. The kids were running around naked, fucking saying all this weird shit. Like,
well, for people that didn't want trouble, they weren't doing it. They were being concerned parents.
Yeah. Most of the neighbors are being concerned parents and going, hey, like we've tried to talk to them. They yell at us, threaten violence with us. So they had to turn to the authorities because they didn't know what else to do.
And the authorities were chomping at the bit. They wanted an excuse. That's what I mean. They, for somebody that didn't want trouble, they didn't do themselves any favors.
If they had been respectful to their neighbors and their, surrounding area, then maybe
take out your fucking trash and be nice.
Yeah, maybe they don't complain and get the ball rolling that much quicker. I'm not saying
sorry. There was ever a group that needed to go buy like 50 acres out in the middle of nowhere and build a compound. This was the group.
Yeah.
Well,
these guys did not belong to happen. They didn't need neighbors. These people didn't need neighbors.
No. Yeah, and that was kind of the idea behind the whole movement, was they were getting back to the basic. If you want to boil it down to its core without all the weirdo cult-like following, whatever. But yeah, they're trying to get back to the basics, and revolution or whatever doesn't necessarily have to mean
resistance.
Yeah, resistance doesn't have to mean the one guy right at the beginning. I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but
it was
resistance doesn't have to mean like being a fucking soldier or just an asshole or standing up to the authority. It could just mean doing your own thing. And at the core, that's kind of what this was. That's why you get those Ruby Ridge Waco vibes here. But again, you're still in the inner city, and like you're saying, Brandon, your neighbors are going to get pissy if you're dicks to them. So you're right. Maybe it doesn't happen as quick, and maybe it doesn't happen as just horrible if they're not as awful to the community. But I still maintain that they had a giant target on their back, and local PD was going to use anything they could. So and after this all goes down the way it goes down, I'm betting the neighbors were probably like, I think I'd take crackhead yelling at me from the stoop over, oh, my house is gone now.
Yeah.
Thanks, local PD, you fucking assholes.
But the difference, Waco and Ruby Ridge and stuff like that, and even they were just
government entrapment a lot of times.
Yeah.
Well, even though like they were out.
Oh, this was too.
Out. They were gone. They weren't talking to
That's
anyone.
True. They weren't in society anymore.
Yeah. These people were just like doing their own thing.
That's fair.
Move is in the middle of a city.
Yeah.
They're breaking up their sidewalks, like moving the concrete. They're heating with wood,
building two fucking bunkers on the roof for
yeah.
Make sure they have the high ground for when the police come, and they're openly telling people that.
Well, there you go. They knew shit was going to go down at some point.
Yeah, a dude with a gun on top of the house, occasionally, like, so listen, I'm not saying they deserve what they got. I'm not saying at all like this is. I'm just saying like they didn't help themselves at all. Like they really were like, and then what does that have to do with back to nature? Some of that stuff, like I think a lot of us should go back to nature on a lot of things, but like some of it was just very weird. The kids were not clothed, but all the adults were, and then. Your message is not consistent. Raw.
I think a lot of the core beliefs went the wayside after the first incident.
It seemed like that. I agree with you.
And it went towards retribution.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, it sounded like it. It sounded like because when we were looking for a timeline, all of us looking for a timeline to try to get a detailed, by date. We couldn't find one, but two. It kept saying like Black Liberation Group, whereas if you watch this documentary in the beginning, there was nothing about like Black liberation. It was just more like getting back to nature, being a human being.
Yeah, some people tried to label them as like a black supremacist group, which I don't know if they were.
They didn't. Did
they not have Caucasian women in the first
compound?
But even so, they were saying that we're not political. We're just people. We're just here. We're just It was more like a nature hippie type thing, and. That's what I was like. I like these guys, I'm in for that.
Oh, there's definitely a different vibe the second time around.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you can't blame them at all. I mean, I can't.
No, when 9 motherfuckers go down for killing one dude with one shot, I would probably hold a grudge too.
Way.
That doesn't justify being dicks to your neighbors if you're trying to avoid another incident. Guess what? Another incident followed you. So I do agree.
Guess they weren't trying to avoid it then, right?
Yeah, you're right in that regard. So much was so avoidable. Like Chicken, I think you said everybody failed monumentally here. It was just, it just gets so much worse. I think at this point we're just trying to dance around it, but let's
get into
move
it.
into the horrible stuff.
So tensions start raising as we head into 1985. Tensions between Move and the city Philadelphia escalate. The organization.
When did the new mayor step in? Was that?
I think it was like 82 or 83.
Yeah. Okay. Because
we have a new black mayor. The old mayor, everybody claimed him as being the racist old guy. Dude, I watched a couple of YouTube videos or even listened to a couple podcasts, and they like, I don't know if anything the old white guy mayor said was too fucking scandalous. Maybe I didn't listen to everything, but I think he gets, from what I seen, he got a bad rap. He seemed like your old school Law and Order, and he probably was a little racist because they all were back then.
It's of the times. It's just the location. Yeah,
maybe he wasn't. I don't fucking know. But either way, they elect a black mayor that's here to try to fix everything. So
and at that point in the documentary, I'm like, we should probably reference the documentary somewhere in the description.
It's called "Let the Fire Burn." Is the name of it. You can look it up on YouTube. It's free. It's about an hour and a half long. Well really worth your time. It is a very captivating
it's
documentary.
Powerful. But
it has all the fucking they clip up all the testimony that they did afterwards, after all the shit went down, and let everybody like plead their case a little bit and ask the questions, and you find out who the heroes are in this one. Which there's only
what was the new mayor's name? Because at this point I'm like, oh, okay, so the new black mayor is going to come in, and like this group's going to get some grounding. They're going to get some legitimacy. Or like, okay, maybe they're going to be like, hey, back off oh shit, no, was I wrong? Fuck, this guy didn't give two shits. Like this guy might have been worse.
Still a politician. Wilson Good.
Yeah. Wow.
Wilson Good, you said?
Yeah, Wilson Good. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't want to like think strictly on the race card here, but I'm like, okay, at least this guy's a guy who can sympathize with the movement, the group in general, because it's the 70s or early 80s now, and racial tensions, black mayor. Okay, maybe at least he can have some sympathy for him. And no, holy shit, no, this guy felt like he was spurned by the group. I swear that was the vibe I got. I don't know. This guy it felt like a personal vendetta against him in some regard.
Right.
Well, again,
that's the vibe I got.
Again, you don't shit where you eat. Like your whole neighborhood hates you because you're assholes to everybody. And
right.
Now they're going after this. Now your whole neighborhood is going after the city going, what are you going to do about these people? Because we can't even sleep because they got their motherfucker.
Barking at people.
Barking at people, telling people that they're worthless. Like, stop working for the man. Like, crazy.
Yeah, it was some crazy shit, that's for sure. Let's see here. So obviously tensions are at a high point here. Neighbors are pissed. A standoff begins when they try to evict Move from this house and their headquarters.
I feel like I've heard this story before.
Yeah. So the police surround the building. Now, did they evacuate the neighborhood before the first shots were fired? I'm pretty sure they did. They knew this was going to get violent.
Yeah. I'm going to go back real quick to the one.
I'm pretty sure like May 12th or May 11th or 12th, they evacuate the entire neighborhood.
The smallest timeline we could find, collaborativehistory.gse, 1982 to 1985, covering a lot of ground here. In 1982, some of the MOVE members who had escaped incarceration following the 78 shootout with the Philly PD in the village settled into a row house at 6221 Osage Avenue, where they broadcasted demands to the city through a loudspeaker day and night. Complaints voiced by neighborhood residents were tabled at City Hall, even as MOVE members construed an armed barricade on the roof of the house. Under mounting pressure to act, Mayor Wilson Good authorized a tactical plan to evict Move, and on May 13, 1985, the eviction process went awry, resulting in a day-long gun battle between Move and city police. And I'll just stop.
Yeah,
there.
so it was I think the day before, maybe 2 days before, because they didn't plan on this lasting as long as it did.
Right.
But they knew it was going to get violent, and they asked everybody in the neighborhood, leave your house, because it was Mother's Day weekend.
Well, yeah, they had news
because like all the
people
interviews
in their houses.
Yeah, all the interviews, they had all the people, they're all dressed to the nines. Back in the day, you get dressed up for Mother's Day because people used to respect mothers back then, or just family values in general.
Yeah.
But anyway, everybody's dressed to the nines and like ready to have their like Mother's Day weekend. Then they're all told, hey, evict. You can't come back until tomorrow night, 10 p.m. or later.
Yeah.
Little did they know it wouldn't be over yet.
The fuck was that?
It's
a Dr. Evil. What the fuck, man?
It was a little Dr. Evil because a lot of evil shit's about to happen.
Am I wrong, Brendan? Does that not feel totally out of place? What the fuck was that?
I am awkward.
That was so I'm so uncomfortable right now. Little did they know they wouldn't be coming back. The fuck, man?
All right.
Again,
I think
folks,
we all
trying to keep it lighthearted because this.
I think we all earned a shot at that point. Jesus.
Yeah,
God.
that's fair.
I didn't bring a shot glass with me. Sorry.
All right.
Where was I? Yeah. Cheers, folks. Sorry about that. Awkward. So yeah.
Pussy to pet.
So the police surround this place, and then they had this planned out pretty well. They actually took like fire hoses from like a block and a half away and pointed them at the house so they could fucking just like fire hose the top of the house because on top of the house there's like two little structures they built out of like 2x4s and steel and some other shit. They look pretty janky. Bunkers.
Yeah.
And they had like shooting holes like punched out supposedly. Like it looked like it, honestly, like if I was a 22-year-old kid LARPing to shoot cops, that's probably what I would have built, not knowing any construction at the time. That's like how I probably would have built it.
Right.
Decent deer stand. I mean, not
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what this is. Exactly. That is exactly this. This is not like military grade anything. It's a fucking wall with a hole in it where you could stick a stick or a fucking gun that obviously doesn't work. Because stop me if you heard this. They didn't have operational weaponry.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the fire.
So anyway, yeah, they got the fire hoses up there, and they wanted to use the fire hoses to like suppress anything coming out of that top, which I totally get. Like that's not a bad strategy.
Non-lethal way of force. I get it, and I'm cool with that. It's a good start. Good start.
Yeah,
hold on to your shit.
So, in an effort to end the standoff, the move standoff began anyway. Police department attempts to evict their headquarters. Police surround the building and exchange gunfire with MOVE members. Again, this is disputed on how many working guns they had. Now, the amount of gunfire placed into the headquarters or house.
Yeah.
The police commissioner admitted, because as there's a news TV camera sitting there, like watching all this shit happen and all the gunfire going off. Maybe I like play a clip of that here in a second, but they watch a cop car like pull up to the scene and pop the trunk, and the trunk's, it's not a ton of ammo, but it's ammo because they ran out. Over 10,000 rounds for what, like 10 to 15 people in one house? 10,000 fucking rounds.
And they ran out.
And hey, environmentalists, you're gonna love this one. You know how much the city of Philadelphia sprayed onto this house? 1,000 gallons of water a second with those guns. Yeah.
Hey, Brennan, as a plumber, is that a lot?
That's quite a bit.
All right, yeah.
Quite a few toilets right there.
Yep.
Yeah. How much is your normal toilet? Does a half gallon or a half liter today, right?
Oh,
Off a normal
it's
flush.
like 1.2 gallon flush.
Yeah.
Yeah, normal toilet. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo! That's shitty.
Yeah. It's a lot. Fucking lot. So, like,
Sorry.
because we're talking like the gallons that we're talking here. They could have pushed the building over with that over enough time. Like if they kept that force concentrated long enough in a weak spot, like they could have knocked the whole fucking thing over.
Just take it right out.
Yeah. Jesus, look
so-
at it.
Yeah, this is one of the cannons. So I'm not going to play the audio since I don't know if any
Let's just assume it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of this is just news footage. So this is them trying to get into the house. They got tear gas all over the fucking place. They tear gas the fuck out of this building with children inside, mind you. So yeah, here we'll skip ahead here and get past some of the testimony. No. These guys are deathly afraid. Now this is where the gunshots are starting to ring out while they're doing a live news video. I think that's it. Yeah, and they're making this guy leave because there's too many gunshots ringing out. Now, it's funny because all the gunshots are recorded on these news videos.
This guy.
And yeah, no shit. Fuck this guy. This guy's a piece of shit. So as they like, they're like, so what happened here? And they're going back and forth and asking the questions between all these folks. And they're like, oh yeah, that was automatic gunfire. And then they like play the video and it's like, you hear this gish, gish.
Yeah.
Gish. You're like, well, that ain't automatic.
That's not automatic.
And then another guy comes up and goes, oh yeah, it totally wasn't automatic gunfire. They're like, tell me what it sounded like. He's like,
tap, tap,
like
tap,
that.
tap. Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Now we can pretend that some of these guys don't know what that would sound like. We could pretend that some of these guys maybe have PTSD if they went to the war and now they're a cop. But no, you fucking know the difference. You know the difference. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's not even debatable.
So as this is all going on, the news is all over. Let's see. 4 guns from the debris of the move house. None were capable of automatic fire.
Oh, did you say 4 of the 4?
Yeah, it's right there on the screen.
Oh, 0 of the 4. Oh.
None of the 4 were automatic.
Cock breath. Jesus, this guy. Remember that guy. That guy too. Fuck that guy too.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck a lot of the people in this goddamn film. Like this poor kid.
Yeah.
He's dead now, right? Rest in peace, Michael.
The way they were interviewing him, not cool.
No, it felt very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
So there we go. We got
the truth. You know what that means, right? I'm like, oh man, this feels so dirty.
So we got 3 women, 4 men, and 6 children in the house as this raid's going on. 10,000 plus rounds fired into it.
Plus gallons and gallons and gallons of water.
Yes.
10,000 rounds. Okay, so that's probably sufficient.
Here you go. Here's that cop car pulling up when they run out of ammo. His only job was to bring ammo.
No, this is over, right? Like 10,000 rounds and all those gallons of water. It's over, right?
Now,
Wait,
okay.
What's this?
These are 223 rounds.
Oh, it's not over?
These are large cases of 223 rounds. Like, how many? So you see, he picked that one up, and there was another box behind that. You got a box to the left there. I'm pretty sure there's a box to the right. That's probably a few thousand rounds of 223.
Jesus.
Yep. I saw a lot of people with 12 gauges, so I'm sure some of it is.
Yeah, there you go. X223R.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty crystal clear right there. They got a good shot of that.
Yeah.
Wow. God. This guy gave me Smoking Man off of X-Files vibes.
Yeah, these are more shots firing.
Yeah, people just fleeing their neighborhood. And it's not because of the assholes that were being loud. It's because of the fucking people that they called to deal with the disturbance in the first place. That's the problem.
Allegedly.
Now, here,
Allegedly.
let me go back. So we talked about the two cops that beat the fuck out of the one guy. Or there were several cops that beat the fuck out of the one guy, the video we showed earlier. Those cops did, two of them had charges pressed on them. Yep. And they were found not guilty.
Not guilty.
Guess what?
There they are!
One of them. There's one of them on the scene of this incident.
Yeah. So when I was talking about maybe Move has a bit of an axe to grind against the local PD, I think the same thing would be said if you're a cop and you feel like, yeah, no, totally justified arresting those 9 people for killing one guy, even if maybe we killed him ourselves on accident. But yeah, totally let me go on this.
I do love
how
they had these guys in white vests.
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
let's just signal out.
I'm that guy.
That's like
remember me?
Well, that's the thing. Like back then, not everyone got issued body armor. Like you were a cop, you were just like walking around without body armor on. You had to go get it at the station if you needed it, or it was in the back of your vehicle if you're lucky, right? So, yeah. So
was that a leftover vest from Star Wars?
That's just how it came. That's just how it came back in the day. Like, and honestly, when my first, you should have seen my first Border Patrol body armor. It was a green carrier instead of a white one. Yeah, and you know, I carried underneath my shirt at that point, but but yeah, it was just as ugly. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, people with a preconceived bias that were there in the first incident. Why would you think that was a good idea to let them be involved in this?
So there's an aerial shot of the bunker with the water spraying on it. You'll see this in the documentary as well.
Bunker.
They made 2 structures. You can see the one on the bottom left, like bottom middle of the screen, and then the bigger one is on the top right.
This looks like something I would have built as a kid.
Yeah. Right. That's what I was saying. Like if I had no construction experience or knew how to just like frame a wall, that's what it would look like.
Yeah. President fall over from the water.
Oh, apparently they put a lot of screws in it.
Yeah.
What happens? So they spend hours spraying water on this thing, by the way, folks. Hours of water.
They must have had a pretty good well they were running off of.
So there you can see the distance. So they're across.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how fucking far away they position these hoses.
Is that a full city block?
So the reason they did this is because in the original 78 incident or whatever, the first siege or incident they had, supposedly they had fired on firefighters as well. So they had positioned the fire trucks as far away as possible to avoid any danger. That's why those hoses are spraying so far away. But to think of the force it takes to shoot that far, yeah, that's a lot of fucking water.
Yeah, it is. And it goes quick. Now
you're ruining all those houses. Like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's the thing. The collateral damage, even from the water spraying, is monumental at that point. For the time frame that they're doing it, that's ridiculous. It's insane. And how are they not knocking down these piece of shit structures? But all the homes are being destroyed in the process. Like, this makes no sense. Yeah. So here we go. This gets fucked up.
So yeah, this is where some bad ideas come into play. Or one specific bad idea.
This is the point where I went, I had to rewind. Because I thought I misheard what the fuck they just said. And lo and behold, no, I was right.
At about 5 p.m., a member of the police bomb squad suggested using the helicopter to drop an explosive onto Move's roof. So again, if I was a 22-year-old with no experience in anything, I'd be like, "Hey guys, you guys want to get you want to end this? Like,
I'll get him out of there. I'll get him out of there."
What the This fucking guy.
Give me some bombs and throw me on a helicopter.
They dropped like Semtex and C4 and holy shit.
Yep.
This guy pissed me off more and more as the farther this thing got.
Yeah. He turned into a preacher, by the way. Find out later.
Put the cart before the horse.
Oh, yeah. This guy's he's the pilot. He's telling where you put it. So here we get to see.
He didn't drop the bomb, but
no.
He flew.
So police loaded a satchel with 4 pounds of Tovex and C4 plastic explosive and a 45-second fuse. So in this video, you get to actually see it.
Up.
Good job on the press back when they were actually curious about.
See, the first view, I thought, did they actually load this onto like the news helicopter or some shit? No, it was a police helicopter.
Well, there you go. You get to see
there goes the satchel. Tovex and C4 right on the roof. At what point does anything that's happened justify explosives? Because they've already pounded 20,000 some rounds of ammunition into this building. They've blasted tens of thousands of gallons of water, and now they've blown the building up. Mind you, the building is connected to other people's houses.
Wait a minute.
There's kids in the building.
Oh, that's right. There's still motherfuckers in this thing. Women, men, children, even.
And 4 non-automatic firearms. So we don't even know if shoot.
Well, we don't want to get shot, so clearly we need to blow this fucking building up. Are you kidding me? Who gave this authorization?
Yeah.
Was it that dick?
The mayor said it was okay because he flat out said, I did not deny the authority, so I did approve this technically. So here they're talking. So they shut off the water hoses. So this is 2 minutes after the bomb. There's just a little smoke.
There you go.
This is important.
Important. We've been blasting this building with thousands of gallons of water for hours. Now we're going to drop a bomb on it. Now we've exploded a bomb on it. Cut that water off. Gotta stop that water. Like, we've wasted enough. This is the quote, and this is the name of the documentary. There was a decision to let the fire burn. Mayor Wilson Goody, the black mayor.
Oh, goody.
Oh, goody. Oh, goody. What the actual fuck? And here you go. The fire commissioner here says
5 minutes later, smoke's still rising.
And the fire commissioner
15 minutes later
say verbatim that
that's
they were instructed, let the fire burn. The fire commissioner says this.
15 minutes. Like, that's a pretty hefty fucking fire.
Yeah.
Well, it's Tovex and C4.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention you put it on the roof. You know what?
Yeah.
Tar is on there, right? Like that. That's going up. That's going up, baby. Yeah.
Fire. Yeah. So the fire commissioner and Jesus.
Really?
25 minutes.
25 minutes. Really? Can we
Still
turn the water on yet?
No water.
Nope,
Can we turn the water on yet?
Nope. No water. We dumped thousands of gallons, but now there's a fire. No. Oh, look at all the people that called in the fucking complaints.
These are residents going, my fucking house is gone. I know what's happening.
I didn't like them yelling at me from the porch, but now my house is gone. Glad I called the cops. These people are stunned. They don't know what to do. Their lives are gone. Mayor Goody was watching on TV from his office in City Hall. And this was brilliant. This was brilliant politicking. This motherfucker says, I was watching on a TV and, it was the snow from the static of the TV. I thought it was raining or that they were spraying water. So I thought it was fine. I thought they were trying to put out the fire.
That's literally pretty much what he said.
This motherfucker just used bad static connection on the TV
Well, you know, TVs weren't good back in the, you know, in the 80s.
I didn't know it was the Playboy channel. It was all squiggly. All I saw was
I was looking for some titties.
Yeah.
Mayor Wilson Goody says, I thought they were dousing it with water because the reception of the TV made it look like water was being sprayed.
So, oh my God.
I was so mad when he said that. I was so fucking mad watching this. Jesus, look at that.
So
they won't call the police commissioner motherfucker anymore. That's a quote.
Here, let me turn the audio on for this because this is.
Can we do that?
For this specific piece, I think we should.
Okay.
It's free on YouTube. I would think we can.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, not only that, I don't think this. I think this is public domain stuff. Here
oh, well, hold on by all means.
So,
play with fire, baby. No, geez, oh wow, I can't believe I just said that.
it was kind of hot.
That was in bad taste, huh?
Yep.
No,
I meant it metaphorically, not literally. Like these pieces of shit.
All right, let's hear what these. This is as the fire is raging.
Yeah, literally raging.
Police at the place had to say. So this is after the mayor is saying that this is something he tried to call down and say that you need to put the fire out. Now the police commissioner
figured out they weren't putting it out.
yeah. This went on for hours. So the police commissioner said, "Hey, I told the fire chief." And the fire chief goes, "Nah, dude, nobody fucking told me a thing."
Yeah.
Like, so everybody just deflected.
This is the worst part. This is the worst fucking part. The fire chief says, "No, nobody said you need to put this out." The question,
but his job is to put out fucking fires.
Right. Specifically his job, like identically his job. The police commissioner is asked the question, did you decide to use the fire as a weapon? And I'm being very facetious in this question, but that's literally what he was asked. No, we did not make the decision to use the fire as a weaponry. And there's like
a weapon silence. Is something I would use as force on somebody as a person.
And there's a silence. Yet you decided to not put out the fire of the building with people inside of it that you were also shooting at. And they're just like flabbergasted. And he just no, we didn't use this. No, this was all by the books. And this was the right decision.
And meanwhile,
at this point, you're infuriated watching this thing.
Meanwhile, here's what the people on the scene are saying. Your local, I don't know if these are police officers or firefighters, but anyway, here you go.
There you go. There's the quote. Jesus. So it's important to note that in the documentary they touch on this, that when they first began the quote unquote eviction process, some of the MOVE members were, not exactly welcoming to the eviction brigade. And they probably threw out some stuff that was, colorful and derogatory and not welcoming. Along the lines of, your wives are going to be fucking black men tonight. Yep. They were taunting the cops, as you would expect, because they've been down this road before. And then they blew up their fucking building. So really, I don't really care what taunting there was. That was the quote that you can hear on the video. They won't call the police chief a motherfucker now. Holy shit.
So as the news crews and everybody are focused on the building and the house, there's not a lot of camera views behind the building.
God.
The whole house starts getting fucking completely
It's
engulfed in flames. Like it gets fucking. Well, I have to skip ahead quite a ways.
Yeah.
This is a good part of the documentary. I'm going to skip past it all because like this is something. If you're interested in watching this, you need to go watch this part because this is where they interview the cops. That were dealing with this situation, which is fucking tragic. And they discuss like what they were seeing. So this is
this piece of shit.
I think this is one of the good ones, wasn't he?
No, this guy was defending stuff, I thought.
Let's see. This was the good guy.
Yeah, this guy was like honest about what was.
This guy was a fucking hero. He actually had N-word lover scribbled on his fucking locker
after he gave his deposition. Yeah,
after he like was honest about the whole thing. So yeah, here's what the house fucking looks like.
Jesus Christ. That's not just the house. That's the surrounding houses.
Yeah. It turned into a 6-alarm fucking fire.
Yeah.
So here's their recreation of the backyard of the house, and he's given his description of what he was trying to do. And
see, he's like, I wanted to go help. And one of his fellow police officers was like, no, something doesn't feel right.
It was one of his supervisors.
Yeah. No, it's a trap. It's a trap. It's a fucking trap. Really, it's a trap.
This guy was a local reverend. He did ask one question because they were telling a story about how one of the kids like came out onto one of those backyard ramps, and then ran back in. Ugh. Because of whatever the officers were saying. The cops were like, well, we're just saying, come to us, kid. Come to us, kid. And the reverend goes, I find it hard to believe that I have an inferno behind me, a house on fire, and then I have you in front of me telling me to come to you. And I choose to run back into the burning building instead of come to you. I find that hard to believe.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What did they do? Nobody knows because there was no cameras back there at that time.
You'll never know. It's
so sad.
Yeah. No, it's just
terrifying. Kids.
Children. Fucking children.
So yeah, here's a helicopter view of that neighborhood with just the one house on fire. So you heard them saying they're trying to contain the fire. They said from what, like 15 and 17. So they're trying to keep building 16 on fire, right?
Yeah.
That's what the neighborhood used to look like. You'll see some aerial footage here in a little bit too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
blank spot now.
Long story short, or long, this is about an hour long into this story. Yeah, everybody in that house died except for 2 people.
Yeah,
all the children except for 1.
And the kid that's giving the recount of the situation, like he's giving a recap specifically of the youngest kid, what was like 2 or 3,
yeah, it's
I believe.
Sad.
And it's just it's heartbreaking.
That's the one kid that made it out.
Just because at the end of the day, regardless of how big of dicks the people in this house were, that were the leaders of the movement, they didn't deserve this. And tenfold, the children that were lumped into this situation through no fault of their own. And nobody made it out except for a couple. And this is just, it's not fair. It's not fair because you're talking about personal revenge. You're talking about personal vendettas. You're talking about politics. All of this stuff umbrellas over the fact that children lost their lives because of politics, vendettas, retribution. Because people couldn't get out of their own way because people could admit that they were wrong because people couldn't play by the rules a bit more because mayors had an ego because police commissioners have racial biases. Like it's sick. And again, I bring it back to modern day. You wonder why people have trust issues. It's because stories like this exist, and this isn't that long ago. It's not.
Look at that. That's the aftermath. Not only did the city of Philadelphia overdo this eviction,
It's not an eviction; it's an eradication.
It was totally an eviction.
They
but
evicted
look at
everybody
what
in that building, and plus the neighbors. Jesus.
Look what they did to this fucking entire neighborhood. This is fucking insanity. This is your tax dollars at work, folks.
At work.
When you hear Brendan and I say, fucking
fuck you, Wilson,
taxation is theft. Taxation is way worse than theft when you look at shit like this. Like taxation is evil when this is what it leads to.
There it is.
So I just said, so 1985, the police department had access to C4.
Yeah.
And then,
that's exactly.
And then decided someone in the department high enough decided that this was a really good idea to drop it on a roof. Okay. Yay, government. like these people have your best interest in mind. Like, if this doesn't make you at least think twice.
But wait, there's more. The city of Philadelphia paid to rebuild the neighborhood, but the new houses were condemned in the year 2000 due to shoddy construction.
So 15 years later. Wow.
So your tax dollars paid to kill these people, burn the houses down, paid to rebuild the houses, and then they're condemned.
But at least the mayor 6 years later became a reverend, to atone for his mistakes. Jesus.
There's the names of the children that died.
Like
5 kids.
It's awful. It's fucking awful.
Sick. Yeah. Just.
And like that fire didn't just like the roof blew off.
You're saying it didn't start itself?
Well, yeah, and then also like you said, they shut the water off as soon as they dropped the bomb.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't have continue to dump more water on there.
Exactly.
They fired the water at the houses next to it on the left and the right.
Yeah. So they killed these people for sure. I mean, maybe
murder,
but
they intentionally let the fire burn. Yeah.
They literally, they had the option, they had the order to stop the flames, or at least try to control the flames.
God awful and wrong.
They opted not to.
Yeah.
And there's very little excuse for this. And I'm sorry, anybody of this back to blue fucking people that want to be like, hey man, like the cops didn't know who was in the house and they got a history of violence. No, fuck you. Like, I don't give a shit if somebody's got a fucking history of violence or not. The cops had a history of violence.
Yeah, with these people.
Yeah.
There was so many ways. The Reverend, if you watch this documentary, the Reverend's like, I knew these people personally. Like,
yes.
Obviously, if the Reverend was able to speak to them, knew them personally, they were members of the community. Like, some of them had to be reasonable people. And there was ways to work around that. And there was ways you could have fucking de-escalated this to not burn an entire fucking city block to the ground.
Yeah.
And kill children and women. There was like 4 guys in there that maybe were violent. Maybe. We don't even know.
No, you'll never know. Because you never get the truth throughout this whole thing. To finish off the really, really itty bitty timeline I had, The fire caused the deaths of 11 to 13 MOVE members, 6 adults, 5 children, destroyed 2 city blocks of middle-class homes, and left an edible stain on the city's reputation, a city that bombed itself. And then it continues, the long shadow of MOVE fire, 85 to 2018. 2 investigations in the wake of the MOVE fire cited the city's 4 top officials for negligence and incompetence in their management of the situation. City's efforts to replace the area's destroyed houses were frustrated by corruption and shoddy construction from the early 1990s. MOVE survived and thrived in a remnant form, resettling in the Spruce Hill neighborhood, living peacefully with neighbors. Maybe should have tried that here, taking up the cause of the imprisoned activist Mumia Abul-Jamal and continuing to work for the release of the surviving members of the MOVE 9. So, I guess we got this up until 2018, but yeah, now we know. They released one of them in 2020 to go die from COVID, apparently.
Yeah, so they after everything that happened, they did a commission there at the city, and the final report after all the testimony and all the witness statements and everything that came through, the commission concluded that the city officials and police were negligent in their actions.
We did it.
So guess what happened?
We did it. We proved their negligence. What happened?
No criminal charges were ever filed.
Say what?
Guess who was reelected in 1987?
Wilson Goody?
Da-da!
Good God.
Good job, Mayor.
Again, when people wonder why I can't champion politicians, here's a prime fucking example. Holy Jesus. Mishandlings of situations like this.
See, y'all that have been watching this whole show.
Reelected.
You guys have been watching this whole show. You guys watch Hollywood fucking Phil KOE coming here. And you're like, man, this is going to be a fire show. And then, yeah, it was a fire show.
Chicken, no. No. Should we just go for broke and start playing We Didn't Start the Fire?
I thought my joke was bad. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Again, trying to keep it lighthearted. This is a really bad topic. God damn it. That was horrible. It's fucking horrible. But again, we've covered these things. Waco, Ruby Ridge, it's all in the same vein. You've got so many innocent bystanders. It had nothing to do with the vendetta from one side or the other. That are just a victim of friendly fire or just hate. Just pure, unadulterated hate. And that's what this is. It's just pure, unadulterated hate.
And the children were innocent. I mean,
yes,
they were there.
They
had no choice. Let's be serious. They had no choice. So
no, they're forced into the situation.
Yeah, that just that
it's sickening.
Yeah,
that's the most. Because that's what I think about mostly when you listen to this asshole police commissioner talk and defend the actions and defend the decisions and the requests of his enforcement. He justifies it, knowing full well
he
what happened.
Justify it.
Justifies it, knowing full well there were innocent children casualties.
Not just casualties.
I can't. How do you sit there?
Technically, there were 6 casualties.
And answer that question.
The one that survived had fucking 3rd-degree burns.
Yes, stone-faced, answering the questions with no guilt. I don't know how a human being can do it. Fuck that guy. I hope.
To our subscribers that have made it this far,
yes,
we owe you a drink. So I got my Canadian Springs. Just
motherfucker.
Appreciate you, love you for sticking around.
All right, I'll get in on that. Yeah, I got to get rid of this Koval.
Oh God, ugh. Yuck.
Okay, that's a shot. Ew.
That was terrible.
Ew.
That's for all you Facebook paid subscribers.
Millet whiskey, here you go, paid subscribers.
Oh my God, I don't know if I want to get into that.
Oh, God. Oh.
Tony and Phil were nice enough to bring me a bottle of Koval oat whiskey.
Ooh.
No, because I've got the millet.
Mm,
It's disgusting.
terrible.
It's so fucking bad.
Terrible. You brought me another bottle. Oh, yeah, here it is.
So bad.
Also brought me Bickering Brothers oat whiskey as well.
Well, you needed
which
two bottles of oat whiskey just in case you go through the first one too fast. Oh god, that's horrible.
I hate you so much, Phil. Thank you.
Oh god, millet's so bad. It's so bad.
All of it's so bad.
It's so bad.
Anyway, what were you sipping on tonight? I was sipping on some Bradshaw.
I should have tried that while I was there. I eyeballed that one. I was going to try it.
It's very basic. It is. It's a good mixer.
So I finished off my Teeling pot still. That was the first dram I poured when we were still before we started recording. Then I got into. I've been kind of going back and forth between Jameson Blender's Dog and Teeling Single Grain. This single grain was a big favorite in the KOE Nation 32 Irish Whiskey Tournament of Extreme. This is a really good one. I'm actually going to be sad to see this one go. I'll probably have to pick up another bottle. This is not atypical Irish whiskey. This is really different, really good, kind of corn forward. So a little more of a. This would be more of a bourbon lovers Irish whiskey. Really big fan of that one. Nice. Yeah, and then I just ruined my palate with that fucking Koval millet whiskey.
Yeah,
so that's all I'm going to taste now.
Got to give the people what they want sometimes.
And I feel like if they stuck through it this long for pre-record for a really depressing topic like that, they deserved a couple of shots. I'm fine with that. And yeah, folks, again,
this goes into our playlist of the times the government has just done a fucking awesome job.
And I think it's important. We, like I said, we gotta.
My definition of awesome is pretty loose.
It's not awesome.
I love bringing this to the people and showing them how much of a dirtbag their government is, and
especially a story like this. This one's so
many examples.
This is hard to find shit on.
This is one, and we've proven it. There's so many examples of why your government and your law enforcement have failed you, and you wonder why people are skeptical. But we were here tonight, right before the show, trying to find a timeline of the events, and guess what? We couldn't do it. The three of us couldn't. This
doesn't mean you go out and start a fucking militia and go storm a Capitol building.
Bomb dropped.
Fucking do that, you retards. That's not what we're telling you.
Now, okay, I do want to ask: how far into this documentary did you get before you started thinking, I can't wait to see the Chaz Chop documentary in a few years? Because, I mean, there's parallels.
You mean when they killed their own? When they killed their own, when that 13-year-old kid was driving a car and the fucking Chaz Chop fucking members fucking opened fire on him, their own people.
Agreed.
Fucking goddamn Harpers.
But how much of that was bullshit?
That it was allowed to happen?
I'm just saying. How much of what we were told about that situation was bullshit too? Granted, a lot of them were giving us real online live streams.
It's a
different time now. But I'm just saying.
A weird. So what I appreciated at the time is that Donald Trump didn't send in the feds, and and honestly I can't remember.
This is what would have happened.
Yeah, I can't remember if I was at that time. I don't think I was as fucking hardcore libertarian anarchist as I am now. No, so I don't remember what I said about it back then.
You're pretty hard in the paint about fuck these people.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I think there were feds there. I'm pretty sure they were like panel vanning people. Like they were like opening them up, picking them up off the street.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the feds were in there like kidnapping people.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Not that they meant
still being lied
or worse. I mean, like that sounded just like a horrific shit show.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to someone talk about that where they basically like these people thought they could grow their own food, but no one knew how to do it.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh my God.
They were just like, it was just such a shit show. And then they had to end up like shipping in food from the outside, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, it was just awful.
We're gonna fucking anarchy. Okay, so call capitalism. We need some produce.
Yeah. Does anyone know how to grow a cucumber? Anyone?
Yeah, can we get some carrots up in this bitch? What the fuck? Like,
it takes that long to grow a vegetable? What?
Oh, we can't wait.
I was so excited.
I just got my Amazon Prime back. We're fine. We're gonna be fine.
We're good. We're
good.
So, in all seriousness, like I got this big ass garden. It's like a fucking 5,000 square foot garden now because I added on to it again. It's fucking huge. But my tomatoes are finally fucking. I finally got natural fucking organic tomatoes coming in. They're all green and whatnot. I got a bunch of peppers. My jalapenos are starting to drop. I didn't know what to do with broccoli. I've never grown broccoli ever before. I've had small gardens in my life, so I kind of have an idea what to do with everything. But I've never done broccoli, so I just did a couple of things of broccoli. So I'm learning on broccoli. I'm not a fan of broccoli so far, because there's not a lot. You have to plant a lot of broccoli to get a lot of.
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
So anyway, I got like all this shit coming in right now, and I'm like super fucking pumped, super goddamn excited. I've never had to fend off from fucking bunnies so much in my life.
We were this sitting in his house last weekend shooting at all the rabbits in the yard with the fucking pellet gun, trying to ward them off from his garden.
I have the whole thing fenced off, and I took my tractor and I fucking poured dirt all around the fence so they can't fucking dig under the fence. The motherfuckers keep getting in there though.
Yeah, rabbits.
Fucking bunnies.
Yep.
So the good thing is I planted a row of arugula, some red lettuce, and some it's spinach.
Oh.
Now it seems like that's where they're focusing is that little patch, which I'm okay with. Like the only thing out of those I want, I just planted those because my son's got a lizard, and I figure, whatever. Well, we'll grow some lettuce and see how it goes because I've never grown lettuce before. So I was like, we'll see how that goes, and I'll eat the spinach. I fucking love spinach on salad and shit. And why not? That's the number one bacteria fucking causing goddamn vegetable you can grow in your garden. So I might as well grow my own, and if I'm going to kill myself, I'll do it. So, but anyway, I'm like, okay, at least the bunnies just eating that now, because the fucking bunnies were eating my corn stalks as soon as they sprouted. They were eating the corn stalks. I was like, you motherfucker.
There's a reason people shoot those cute things, and you're finding out why. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then my cucumbers, as soon as the cucumbers would sprout, they would eat not the sprout. They would eat the seed. They would dig in and eat the seed and fuck up my whole cucumber plant. I'm like, you mother. Jesus Christ. I didn't think I needed to be on guard duty. I literally, hold on. I might be able to even fucking show you. I have a fucking goddamn 24-hour fucking live stream fucking goddamn security camera on my goddamn garden now with alerts so I can go out and shoot a motherfucking bug.
Yeah, he's no longer living in Iowan suburban hell. Yeah. So he's got the baby monitor on his garden.
Yeah, the baby monitor.
Not keeping tabs on my neighbors now. I'm watching the rabbits in my garden.
I hope he brings up the video and there's a rabbit eating his shit.
I do too. Yeah, what's up, Dak?
What's up?
Got my night vision fucking
shit.
Nice.
I see one.
No, shut up. Actually, I'm gonna go back and let's see. Well, there's my wife out
20
there.
Feet from the garden right now. He can run out there real quick.
See my wife out there. I see my son out there. What the fuck are you guys doing in my garden? I'm gonna go yell at him now.
They're eating water.
So there I am out there pulling weeds.
Yeah, can confirm. That is the garden.
No, that is the garden.
Nice.
But I'm excited. I got all kinds of beans, corn, zucchini, cucumbers, potatoes, onions, tomatoes, peppers, and then later on, pumpkins. I'm going to be a pumpkin farmer. If this year goes good, I'm not lying.
Yeah.
You know how much money a pumpkin farmer can do off of fucking 10 acres?
Oh, if you start an actual like pumpkin patch, like there's so much money.
That's
so
a lot of money.
much money.
What?
Oh,
That's a
dude.
lot of money.
Why?
I tell you what, Brandon.
10 acres can get you a $60,000 harvest once a year.
Bro,
Damn.
pumpkins, like you get like there are people in this state, like lots of them in Nebraska, that literally just do like they've got cornfields too. Don't get me wrong, and they'll turn like portions.
I'll do
of it into,
corn
like, a
maze.
corn maze.
I can do a 5-acre corn maze,
Yeah.
and then 10 acres of pumpkins.
Oh my
But
God.
they grow fucking pumpkins specifically for the Halloween season, and they turn their farm, their acreage, into like a not just like a haunted house, but like a kid's extravaganza.
Petting zoo.
They're
get
all
goats
over.
and chickens.
Yeah, you get petting zoo, haunted houses, hayrack rides. Oh my god, it's a
Roca.
booming fucking
So
business.
I haven't
We go to
looked up
Roca
what
now because
Roca.
the one in Glenville closed down like 3 years ago. We would always go to the one in Glenville. Now we go over to Roca. Roca makes tons of money. They've got a zombie
Dude, they
hayrack
make way more
paintball
than $60,000 a year.
extravaganza.
Them
It's
guys are
nuts.
making fucking. They are
It's
definitely
nuts.
making $500,000 a year at that.
There's an
place.
entire like campground for people
There's
to just
so
come
many
and make
people.
s'mores. It's unreal. It's
crazy.
unreal. It's amazing. But like it's so much fun, even for adults taking their kids. It's a blast. It's so much fun. I've got a couple of videos.
The haunted
I'm gonna
hayrack
do a
rides
plug.
and the paintball.
Go to Striker G on YouTube, and you can see the 2022 version of our trip to the pumpkin patch, as well as our tours of all 3 haunted houses at the Rocaberry Farms from last year.
Brendan, if we raise enough money to get you here in the fall,
oh my god, yes,
we should do it around.
We will
Halloween.
take you to
If we
Rocaberry
can-
Farm. Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude, no,
You
we
would
do
be
the
so
haunted
like,
hayrack
what the fuck
ride.
are these hicks doing out here?
No, he needs to be on the haunted hayrack ride
Haunted
with the
hayrack
zombies
ride.
come running out of the cornfields. Oh god, it's great.
Oh
We
my
can throw
God.
empty whiskey bottles at them.
I think they frown on things other than paintballs, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna begrudge it. I mean, I'll allow
Yeah.
it.
I don't.
It's
Do
not
they
like
still
they're
do the
able to
paintball
crack
thing?
you.
They used to do a paintball thing where you'd be on the hayrack ride and zombies would run up and you get to shoot them with paintballs.
Yeah.
Do they still do that?
I think that it's more limited now to where they're like on chains or some shit. I don't know. I go with my kids, so I don't get to do the zombie shit.
You don't get to do the fun stuff.
Yeah. When they get older, like my oldest, he's 7, he's going to be 8 by the time we get to go back to Rocaberry this year, but he goes through that haunted house by himself. He went through with his buddy last year. We went through like 3 times. Randomly found his
even
little
the kid
buddy.
ones are
Took
pretty
his
fun.
buddy through it by himself. His buddy bails half through. And
Even
he
the
comes
kid ones
bursting
are
out
fun,
the
though.
side exit, and we're like, what the fuck? He's like, I couldn't do it. Here comes mine. Finally finish it. Like, look, there ain't no thing. It's no thing. And all the way
Yeah.
through.
No,
Bye.
even the kid ones are pretty fucking scary though. Like, and they're pretty fun.
Well,
Like,
okay. The first one, okay, you got to go to Striker G on YouTube and watch it. It's hilarious because the first one is like, it's called the chicken coop, I think, and it's just like chicken themed.
Oh,
it's hilarious. And then there's a clown one, and that one's pretty creepy. And then there's a real haunted house, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't put this on a kid's YouTube channel. So I had to put a disclaimer at the bottom of the intro, like, this might get a little intense. I had to like edit out shit. Because they've got like LCD screens of like people's heads exploding from zombies smashing shit. Oh yeah, that's right. This got kind of fucked up. Whoops. I shouldn't have been recording most of this. But it was a great walkthrough, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. Like,
Whatever,
oh,
man. Whatever.
My kid. I'm a great dad. I'm feeling like a great dad over here.
anyway, folks, I think that'll do it for tonight. Look forward to seeing you on Halloween.
What are you doing to traumatize your kids up northeast, Brandon? Not that.
I don't know.
Brendan, tell the folks where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Really uncomfortable right now. I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm Brandon. You can find me at Your Politics Sucks on Twitter, at Dad's WW on Twitter as well, and on Facebook, and of course, wherever you can find podcasts, you can find Dad's Worldwide. Thanks for having me once again, even for such an awful subject.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for joining
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, who brings their kids in those stupid mazes? Jesus.
Oh my god, the best part last year we were going to do the corn maze and it was so fucked that like all the corn stalks were knocked over. You walked in and you could see the trail to like actually go into the maze. Or you could just go to the right and you were back out and we're like, yeah, fuck it, we just knocked it out. Oh, 30 seconds, bitches.
Jesus.
We're so proud of ourselves. My wife's just looking at us like, you guys are fucking stupid.
Lame.
Lame. Anyway.
Yeah, we were ending this.
Yeah. You can find Brendan and myself at Audacity to Freedom. Find us over on Rumble, which we seem to be hopping over there. Also on Spotify. But yeah, libertarian views, a lot of hate your government, pretty base takes. This episode's kind of up the alley of Audacity of Freedom. Of course, you're watching the Dog and Chicken Show. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, jump over to Big Buck and Empire, KOE Nation, Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, all the shit we promote. But Big Buck and Empire on Facebook has it all. We just post everything there. So it's kind of like the little hub for all the boomers out there and all you youngsters. Get your parents to sign up and make sure you vote and stuff.
Vote.
I don't know. I have no idea where I was going with that. I don't believe in.
You had it.
I don't believe in voting. So
yeah, you were going somewhere with that, and then halfway through, you lost your own message.
Left field.
I did.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. I've had a fucking crazy last couple weeks with Tony and Phil. Like, yeah.
Brandon, put your hands down.
I had a crazy couple weeks between. I've not had a house to myself without a visitor here in like
3 weeks,
a week and a half.
Yeah.
And this weekend's the first weekend where it's just me, my wife, and my child. So we're like trying to figure out how to like live again. It's kind of weird. I don't have to filter myself anymore. Which they're not liking this. That I'm like, oh, I can say what I want again. Anyway, all that being said, appreciate you, love you. Some great content to come, folks. On KOE Nation, on Big Buck and Empire, on all the platforms, all that good stuff. I don't know how many times I can plug shit. Tony, take it away.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Oh, Dad. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, somebody had to say it. Yeah, no. Good God. Episode 181. Yeah, 85. 85 at the Dog and Chicken Show. We're back.
You forgot
recorded. Sorry about your luck. We're gonna do more of these because, again, this is kind of the core of what
it's summer.
No, this is the core of what the show started on, was like pre-recorded, non-topical stuff, timeless content, and we're trying to get back into that. And yeah, time's spread thin. That's why we haven't been pumping these things out, with the greatest V's. So again, these are important topics that we like to talk about. This is important shit.
And Tony, you recorded an episode with Phil that I had way too many hiccups for. When's that drop, and what have I got to look forward to?
Yeah, night 2 of us being in South Dakota, we were all like, okay, we got all the
chicken
whiskey,
was hammered.
All the whiskey reviews are done. We're just going to start recording some like fun stuff for the Dog and Chicken Show. Tony and Phil went and sat down in the studio, and Phil's like, hey, Chicken, come on. Chicken goes, nope. Nope.
That is almost exactly what happened. I was sitting around a bonfire. And I was holding my brother's hand because I thought I was going to die. Lynn's holding my hand saying, brother, I love you. Yeah. You can do this. And he's holding my hand and he like kisses my hand and feels like, Chicken, I need you inside. And Lynn goes, don't do it, Chicken. I need you here. I need you to live, sir. And so I decided to live. I decided to live and make out with my brother.
Fair. So Phil comes back in and says, "Yeah, Chicken's not coming." I'm like, "All right." So he sits back down and he hits record and he just starts talking to me. I'm like, "Oh, we're doing this. Guess it's just you and me." And I'm like, oh, "All right, we're on the spot." He's like, "So, ghosts." Like, "Oh, all right, yeah, ghosts and stuff." It's 2 a.m, but
So
yeah,
you
let's
guys
do
recorded
this.
a whole episode about our
Yeah, we did like an hour
ghost
and a
hunting
half.
group that we started years ago.
So yeah, there's a really good episode. I mostly kept it together. I wasn't as shit.
No, I haven't watched the whole thing. I edited and tried to sync up the audio with the video. I probably have to fix that apparently because Phil
sounds like it. Yeah,
Phil hates everything that I've sent him so far, so I'll have to redo them all again. But no, like what little bit I watched of it, it was pretty good. Tony held it together. I could tell Tony was pretty hammered though.
I was drunk, but I'm like, oh shit, I gotta be serious.
He wasn't as hammered as Chicken was. Chicken,
no.
Myself, I'm gonna talk like Phil and Donald Trump. Chicken about 3 hours before that may have sucked on a tube of some sort that may have had some substance in it that caused him to giggle like a schoolgirl for about 30 minutes straight for no goddamn reason.
Look,
in the middle of a video that we were recording.
Your sweet tooth beside. We don't gotta talk about your pixie stick addiction. Look.
And then I recovered, got my shit back together, and just like the last time I was at Phil's and something similar happened, and when it happened at Phil's, I called it the chick-ups.
It's chick-ups.
I had like a 45-minute video I posted of the chick-ups.
Yeah, that did happen.
Where every time you guys would ask me a question, I go, yep.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Yep. And I was like, I don't want to have another 45 minutes of me going. So I elected to hold my brother's hand
and make out with him.
You made the right choice.
Lynn's hot.
Oh, he was sexy. Anyway, so yeah, you can find me on the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, your 15-time champion.
This is a terrible ending. Lynn's gonna hate me. He's like, everybody's gonna think we're gay.
This is the worst outro we've ever done. On the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast.
Sorry, Lynn. Love you.
Oh God, no!
I don't love you.
Oh. Jesus, for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up. It's July 1st, which is my birthday, so that's going to be a really.
Aww.
Yeah, so you're going to have to catch us for the predictions the night before, and then the review may come like a day late. I don't know what these guys have got planned. We'll get there.
I'm going to plan that out.
Fuck off. I'm the champ. I can do what I want 15 times. Anyway, catch me on that. Catch us, I'm thinking probably not. I don't know.
Oh, my wife works overnight that weekend. I am down for the live stream of the fucking, I'm in.
You might have just roll with that.
RWP 4th of July weekend, folks. We're going to fucking hit it hard.
Okay, well, you guys have fun. I'll probably not be on live for that. Anyway, this week coming up, I'm going to be on vacation with my family. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if we do an episode of Hazard, it's probably going to be on Saturday. So plan around that. This episode of the Dog and Chip and Show should be dropping, I believe, on Thursday or Friday. Probably Thursday, right? Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Thursday.
Go with that.
Drink up.
Sure. Yeah. But join us next week. We'll have probably another pre-recorded episode, 186, and topic to be determined, TBD. We appreciate you sticking around for this long. I thank Chick and thank Brennan. This is a lot of fun, even though the topic was very depressing. But I think these things are important to talk about.
This is an important one.
You know, it's timeless content. It's stuff that gets thrown by the wayside, and it reminds you we're all still human at the end of the day, and why we distrust not just authority but government as a whole. And regardless of what people's misdoings are, we are still people. And when people are wronged by their authoritarian government, it reminds you that we need to take a bit of stock in what it is that we believe and why we believe the things that we believe. And remember that humans need to unite as one, not out of necessity, but out of just basic decency. And when things like this happen, no matter how long ago it was, it does equate to things that happen in the world today. And you got to remember, I'm not asking you to start a revolution here by any means, but I'm asking you to remember we're all human, and you got to sympathize with your fellow man. And you got to remember you can't just trust what the people in power want you to believe. But I'm Tony G. We'll catch you next time.
Appreciate you. Love you.
And see if it just smooths itself out.
Back, tell you what I'll do. If I ever get back, I promise to refabricate you.